Well, guess who's getting a new base in Antarctica? That will be built in 2019, putting them in with almost 30 other countries that are active in Antarctica. We are talking about Turkey. This is very interesting because here on this world stage, the alleged NATO ally Turkey, which is supposed to be friends with the United States and partnered with them, seems to have flip-flopped here on this world stage in working with Russia and others, in basically turning against Israel and their wants and their needs and saying, we know that you're wanting to go in and take big chunks of Syria, but so are we. So it's been a tit for tat, basically them saying, okay, if you want to start inching your way up toward Damascus from down there, we're going to start doing the same thing from up here. And really, Israel can say nothing about it. It's almost a race, in a sense, since Erdogan has made these moves. But, as I always say, here on the world stage, when they play both sides of different avenues, what they've done is they've put Syria in a pinch. So they can act like they don't like each other, but in the end, they have the same end game goal. Regime change. And they want control of Assad. Now, Turkey has some very legendary and very ancient stuff sitting within its borders. Very. Not to mention the oldest temple complex ever discovered on the planet, dating back 12,000 years ago, Göbekli Tepe. A site that they intentionally covered with rock to preserve it. So we now know that there was cultural influence and intelligence abroad on this planet back at that time when some kind of massive cataclysm took place. I feel like during that time, Antarctica was a sprawling area. Obviously, you go back in time, all the continents were situated in different places. Everything continues to kind of move here on the planet and drift in different directions as everything is constantly in motion. But in terms of Antarctica, so many secrets. We've talked about Operation High Jump in the past and then the connection to the battles that took place with Vamana over this area. They had swastikas on them. Then Hitler's affinity with this place, saying that it was their impregnable base that they could reach by sub, going underwater. No one else could get to it. Everyone's asked the questions for years. What's going on down here? All these bases, all the mystery. I've shown you the pyramid-type structures that are right next to Princess Elizabeth Station. They're there. And we also get these massive anomalies that emanate on the mimic maps and in other areas, showing that there's some kind of electronic something going on where they're emitting massive waves and everything else from this region. And we can only suspect that there's a whole lot going on down here in Antarctica. And this is an area that daily is shedding ice and snow. There's more barren open land up here right now, or down there in Antarctica, than people could even imagine. But because they're not showing you updated new photos, which raises even more questions, why are they so secretive if they're just sitting down there in a barren wasteland? Somebody needs to start doing that, uploading some of the newer images of these areas that are not covered in ice anymore. Because I'm telling you this, these areas that are losing all this ice are seeing land get exposed that hasn't been exposed. You're talking for potentially thousands and thousands of years. Talk about the ancient of ancients could be buried underneath this ice down here. They're definitely looking for something, and it looks like Turkey wants in on the action. And here on this world stage, they would never let it happen. You hear me? They will never let Turkey come down there and put a base on that island or on Antarctica if they weren't playing the game. So if you tune into your local news and you hear we're on the verge of World War III and Turkey, this and that, you better stop and think, just like I've said before. Okay, they say the same thing about Russia and the United States all the time, yet we're working with them in space, and we're quietly working with them and everyone else down in Antarctica behind the curtain. So I'm going to leave a link. I'll continue to update as we get more details to this. Thought it was interesting. Another base going up down there. This time, it's Turkey. It's been Dabu 7.